God damn it.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. And the truth. You'll set you free.
Got it. Yo.
Yo, hey, what's up, man?
What's happening, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, look at that
Great.
professional setup.
Check that out. I forgot I bought it during the pandemic. It was like one of the things I bought for my stimmy check. I was like, I want to be a podcaster, and then I got super depressed, and then I found it in my basement. It's great.
That's hilarious, man. Remember that time I wanted to be a podcaster? It's I don't even know why I still do this, to be honest. But hey, welcome everybody to a new episode of Face the Truth. I had a really crazy late night. Maybe we could talk about it later. I don't know, but I'm really tired. But I'm excited to talk to my buddy here. I haven't seen him since 2009. I think was the last time I hung out with this guy. Way too long ago. Yeah, way long ago. I love this guy. I love his sense of humor. I love his art. Super talented, super funny, super smart, and he's got a really nice mic setup. So maybe we could start like a dual podcast or something like that. But everyone, please welcome. Now, you were very specific. You said it's Townsend-Jert, but it sounds there's not a flow there. But everyone, please welcome Townsend-Jert.
You can call me Jeremy, man. So I can tell you the story behind that. It's not as pretentious as it sounds. There's about 20 Jeremy Townsends in different creative fields across the fucking whole internet. The first one I ran into was a inline rollerblader from Seattle, and then there's like cooks and game designers, and like everyone's in a creative field named Jeremy Townsend. So that wasn't going to work on LinkedIn. And then the Jert thing like was pretty good. Like, oh, dude, everyone just calls him Jert. It's cool. But then fucking YouTube, some kid from Indonesia has like 25 million views playing a video game. I was like, all right, I got to differentiate. I've been starting getting emails for this guy. It's like, yo, you got to post more video. I don't even have like a fucking Nintendo Wii, you know? So, so that's where that comes from.
That's funny.
The internet's so long and crazy, too many Jeremy Townsends and Jerts and blah, blah, blah. So that's just my paper name. Everyone can call me Jeremy. Everyone can call me Jert, whatever.
I'm used to Jert.
Fine by me, man.
But man, I remember like, God, not that many years ago, some guy wrote me and he's like, hey man, we got the same name. I'm Jason Seiler. And I was Googling myself and all of this art popped up. I'm like, who is this guy with my name and his art? And he's like, but I wanted to know if I could buy your website name from you because I'm like a wood carpenter and I like to have jasonseiler.com. And I'm like, bro, I've had this website for like almost 20 years. Right. It's insane. You're a wood carpenter? Yeah. Is your name Jesus? Because if it's not, I don't really give a fuck. God. It's weird. I mean, what a weird way to like, hey, my name's Jason too. This actually happened to me the other day. I was at the grocery store and I'm just going there to get a couple bottles of wine. And the guy at the counter, he's got, we have masks on, so I can't really see what's going on here. But he gets so excited. He goes, you were born in October? I was born in October, like 12 days after you. And I'm like, dude, you look like you're 16, man. Like, there's no way that we're the same. But I was just, I don't know. I couldn't stop thinking about how excited he was. Like, that was probably the best thing that happened to him that day. This guy has the same birthday.
Everybody needs different fuel in the tank.
Yeah.
You know? So some of us need higher octane than others. It's like, that's some cheap fuel right there.
Like my
man.
daughter started walking today. Yeah, we have the same birthdays.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how you been, man?
Pretty good, man. Landing on my feet here last 6 or 7 months. It's not too bad. So busy, keeping that shoulder intact and
Yeah.
drawing my ass off. You know about that.
Oh yeah.
Drawing for 25 years straight, and then all of a sudden it's like, what is all the, oh, that's a muscle? What the fuck is that? You know, all the time.
What happened? Like I didn't hear about this.
Oh no, it's just repetitive stress injury.
Oh, I thought you were like actually had a surgery or something.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
I'm staying away from it. I started doing pro wrestler yoga. And yeah, it's this guy, he's like down the street from me. He's I don't know shit about wrestling. Even I mean, I'm totally interested in the tragedy of the lives of professional wrestlers and the insanity of the spectacle. I don't really like wrestling though. But this guy is a wrestler, and his name's Diamond Dallas Page or something. And I think was a big deal or something. But anyway, he's got all this like wrestler yoga where he's like, all right, brother, we're gonna now poke it out. And it's just he just rebranded yoga moves and gave them like masculine names. Like, all right, this one's Thunderball. And
I was picturing something different, like wrestling. Yeah, come over to my house. Just wear some underwear, and you and I are gonna like spoon each other in weird poses.
I mean, I live in Georgia, but that's not what we're doing here. No, dude, I bought the DVDs like a grandma or grandpa, and I put them in a little old DVD player we still have, and it's really funny. He's got like a mega church set up for his yoga dojo or whatever. And it's just my wife been doing yoga for 15 years, so it's just yoga. He just gives it different names, but it totally works because it's all about like getting shit broken up, all that scar tissue.
Yeah, I need to do that. My wife keeps telling me I need to do yoga, but I'm like, dude, it hurts to like tie my shoes.
That's why I'll send you this shit. He's got it all the way up. His whole story is like, all right, I fucking got thrown around so long I can't move no more, and then I figured out how to move, and let me sell it to you. But it totally works. Yeah. It's worth it. The only bad thing is it's got like Christianish music going on in the background, and you're trying to like do your like diamond cutters and all this shit, and then at the end it's like, and the song is so Christian churchy where it's like, this time is your time and you're not fat and stupid anymore because you're moving now and you're not a fat piece of shit. It's like that type of thing. Which is like, when you're
behold the lean Lamb of God.
Yeah, right. Right.
Dude, what I had a reversal vasectomy a couple years back, and the only reason I could afford it was because the guy was like, because like in Chicago it's like 20 grand, but like at this guy had this place in Rhode Island for $1,800, and he had like 100% like positive like results, right? But all the Yelp reviews say,
that is Yelp review.
Well, the Yelp reviews say, but just know he's super religious and he'll probably ask to pray with you. And I was like, whatever. I can deal with a little prayer here and there.
Yeah, for 18.2.
Yeah,
take that off. Yeah.
But the thing is the reason he does it for so low, I found out, is because he believes that vasectomies are against God and everything, and so he wants to try to reverse as many as possible, right? So we go there, and just before this guy's about to have his hands on my balls, he's like, can we pray? And I'm like, sure. He prayed for like 20 minutes, dude. He was speaking in tongues. He was Shandala, 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 and all this weird shit. And I'm like, dude, you're white from the East Coast. You are not from the Middle East. It's like he's confused about the Easts.
Right.
And he like, so for 20 minutes, I'm like looking at my wife, and this guy has got his hands in the air and shit. I'm like, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go with this. We go into this room, and there's like this. It looks like this ancient Japanese looking wood massage table. It doesn't look medical at all, right? And I get up on that thing, and we start the surgery, but he turns on Christian worship music.
Oh no!
So for the entire surgery, it was like, as the deer panteth for the water, something. I remember that. I remember there. Oh, and it was only local anesthetics. So every once in a while I'd get a shot, and it was brutal, dude. There's a lot more to that, but we don't need to get to.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool.
But it's just the fact of like it was like hell. It was probably the closest thing to a real hell I've ever experienced.
That was your punishment. That was your
This is my punishment for
Yeah.
getting married the first time. Okay, I get it.
Now, after the reverse vasectomy, did it work? Did you?
Yeah,
Did you
I got 2 more babies.
the fucking praying worked, man. What can you say?
It worked. It worked, man. Dude, yeah, it worked. And now I have 4 daughters. Yay!
Yay!
Yeah. That's crazy stuff, man. But wow, that piece behind you there, I didn't realize that was that huge.
It's covering a lot of like trash. Yeah, I was like, oh, that'll cover some trash. Yeah, yeah. It's a big boy. I like to go big and then small. And I just like I like to switch it up a little bit. I use different muscles, when I work big, and then I do small, and it helps round you out a little bit more.
When you work large like that, do you find that it's easier to be more loose?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, exactly. No, absolutely. It's so much easier to be loose. Yeah, it's one of the freeing aspects of it. But then it takes a fucking long time, so it's nice to like bring it back small again. Just it's nice to play around.
Is that acrylic?
This one here, yeah, that's acrylic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah, it's so weird that I haven't had you on this earlier, because I've had you on a list for a while.
Oh.
And then I was thinking, I'm like, wait, I've never had him on. What the heck? I was confused by myself, because I've always been a big fan. I love your work so much, and I think the first time we met in person was 2008.
That sounds right.
And that's the year that I was like competing at the NCN or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna win this thing, and I was like, but you did the best and funniest drawing I've ever seen of myself, where you had me like chained to the table, and you had a bunch of funny gags in it, and it's I gotta find it so I can show it on here. I have it in my file somewhere, but it was one of the funniest things, and that's one of the things I always loved is your work has like it's almost like, I guess I would compare it to like a stand-up comedian that like a one-liner comedian that would come out there, that what I mean, like an Anthony Jeselnik or somebody like that, who like it's everything is in this one image, that everything you need to say is right there.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
So now my follow-up question to that is it's like, where does this like stem from? Because I don't know you well, but I know you enough that I feel like I relate to you in this way, where you feel like a fellow punk rocker. Am I right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so I get that sense when I see your work. Like this guy, he knows he's in that genre a little bit, but
absolutely. I'm a grown up punk rocker. So no, that's where I came from. And I always like where I came from. I come from the Midwest as well, and I grew up in St. Louis, and it was such a we were like the flannel punks, type thing, and we like replace it. It got really weird out there with the I remember in the 90s it got to where it's like, do you like grindcore or thrashcore? He's a grindcore guy. It just got so weird and tribal and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like subscribe to the tribalism and the fashion and being a replica of things from it's like cosplaying basically for a lot of people. Do what you want. I'm not saying
Dude, I remember that. I remember like, oh, you're not wearing the right kind of Doc Martens, or
or your laces are wrong,
or like even technical with the bands, like, oh, that guy's not the drummer in the band is not using the right snare drum. Like I remember shit like that.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have the right pop, so it's not really hardcore.
Oh Jesus, you're right. Oh my God, yeah. Or it's like, oh, you have to be on Slap-a-Ham to actually be this version. Oh, it's just too much shit. So that's exhausting. I kind of like that now. It's more like, oh, I can listen to fucking whatever I want, and I don't have to. I listen to like not Bavarian. I listen to this like chamber music from around the world of like all these different voices. So anyway, but no, the same ethos. So I always came from like a working class point of view of like, it's a. I always kind of found a community type thing thing, but the music though, it's always about the music, the good music at least, but where were we going with that?
Well, I'm just was interested in like a little bit of background of like maybe like just like how you got started in like how did you end up even doing caricature in the first place?
Oh yeah, no, that's what. So I was like, okay, so just 14 years old. I don't know where it came from, but I was like, I'm an artist. I was just like, I was done.
Yeah.
I'm an artist. I did well enough to get like my what do you call it, the diplomas, and then I like the best thing for me, I had like working class parents that worked really hard and did really good. And with like, you know, we had a roof over our head. We always had food. We always had clothes.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like going to college for me was kind of like, if I'm going to have to step up, I'm going to start in community college. And I just got so lucky because I went in the 90s and they were putting money into the fucking arts. It was so strange. So I actually had all these great resources, and I've always been a self-starter of a learner. And I fell in love when I started going to community college with figure drawing. And it was just like, oh, I mean, it was it. I was like, I love this shit. I love the human body. I love living things. I love form and that sort of thing. And I was a theater projectionist. I was working in a movie theater. And I mean, that I'd still be doing it if it paid a living wage. Like that was the fucking best. I literally got paid to watch movies.
Yeah.
And I saw every,
that's awesome.
I literally saw every, because one of the place I work actually had like big run features and art house features. So I basically got to see every movie from like 93 through 98. So it's so funny. I won't know I saw a movie until the credits will go, and I'm like, oh, I saw that movie because I had to fucking clean the theater. Anyway, I was walking through the quad and I was literally like, oh, fuck, I need to do something with art. I don't know. And it was like the late 90s. It wasn't no like fucking internet explosion. And I mean, people had, I mean, Cintiqs weren't even a thing. Yeah. Digital art was like fucking Jurassic Park and that's it. Yeah. So the world was a whole lot smaller. And I was just walking around the quad like, oh fuck, I gotta do something. I gotta start drawing. Otherwise I'm gonna have to be an electrician, because my dad was like trying to push me into the union, which again, not those guys do good. It just wasn't for me, you know. And I walk and I see a fucking Tom Richmond flyer for come work at Six Flags. Like we need people at Six Flags. And I did that like dick thing where
were you living in Minneapolis area?
No, I'm from St. Louis.
Oh, but there was he
had a concession in St. Louis. Okay. Yeah, it was.
That's so weird. Like real quick, because I grew up in North Wisconsin and I would spend a lot of time in Minneapolis I would go to the Mall of America, and he had a setup there, and Chris Rommel had a setup in Eau Claire, who I think trained with Richmond. So that's one way that I started getting into it as well, is through seeing Tom Richmond's like fans. Yeah,
he's the GOAT, man. I mean, he really is. I got lucky, man. I got so lucky because I worked with a couple of operations afterwards, but he took it serious, and I also got lucky. So I got the flyer down, and I called, and who answers the phone? It's Ed Steckley. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, he's the guy that trained me in caricature, and he had a real old school sensibility of like, no, you're gonna earn it. And that worked perfect with my personality. Yeah, like he really, Ed, it really was one of the best trainers. He really could kind of sense what you. Well, kind of like a football coach, like he could sense what he needed to do for you to get better at the job. And, you know, I don't think he gave me a compliment for the first year and a half, you know, which worked for me, you know, but I love, it's like that. And this actually reminds me of another story. So I see this flyer, I call up the number and I hear Ed's voice. First time I hear Ed's voice, I'm expecting some weird hippie. Like, I'm just like, I'm expecting someone with long hair. I just didn't know anything about it. That's just where I show up, and it's like, you know, a guy from Depeche Mode sitting there, and he was having it's
Morrissey.
Yeah. Holy shit. Look at that pompadour. But like I show up, and I remember having the thought of like, this job's going to be so fucking easy. Because all I'd seen is like really bad caricature artists. No offense. That's all I'd seen. So I was like, you know, I'm going to be like the best one here. No one else can draw. I know it. And he's interviewing me at this not Universal Studios. What is it in St. Louis? Union Station. He's interviewing me at the Union Station location. And the other guy's like, oh, I'm going to take a break. And Ed's like, what the fuck? And he looks up, and then this big family of 5 shows up. He goes, hold on, I got to draw these people. This is middle of my interview. Yeah. And I'm watching Ed, and I'm like, oh fuck, this is going to be hard, because he put 5 people on one piece of paper without it looking like any effort, and I was like, oh no, this is going to be really hard. But it ended up being great. So yeah, I was in the chair for a long time. Like after that, I got to go to New Orleans with it. I did 2 years there. Then I did New Orleans. I kind of just traveled around everywhere afterwards, and I worked in Orlando for a couple of terrible times. And yeah, I got out of theme parks 2008, I think. Yeah, 2007, 2008. I got out of theme parks, and I haven't been back inside a theme park since. But it was great for building up your chops, and you know, oh my God, I mean, talk about getting rid of your sensitivity. I mean, it is a boiler. I mean, it's just like a pressure cooker. And I was able to take it for a while, but then it got to, this is where it got weird for me, is the small talk factor. Like it would get to where people weren't just saying the same thought. They were saying the exact same sentences all day, and they didn't know each other. And it felt real like, okay,
you mean the other artists were like,
no. I mean, the people I was talking to in our small talk, I'd ask them, I can't really think of how to explain this, but they would be asking me the same question, but they would be saying the same answers to all my questions as I'm asking them, I'm talking to them. And it was the exact, it was like, shit, they're running out of extras for my movie of my life. And it's just, it got so weird. And yeah, it was fucking nuts. I think that's from a movie. Just that's not my
that's just funny
though. But it was. And yeah, it got so weird. And then the fucking music that they pipe in, I would get to where I could like, okay, song 47 is coming up, and then song 48, and then there's that Del Shannon song Runaway, and I would sit and close my ears in the back because I couldn't hear that song. If I hear that song again, it's like Curly from the Three Stooges. Like, you know, it just like goes crazy. So yeah, theme parks are pretty rough on the soul sometimes. But the other artists are great. That's about, you know, you make some really good friends in the chair. And it's funny too, caricature is kind of, it's a non-elitist form of art that working class people can get into the art world with. And I, you know, it's poo-pooed from a lot of people, and those of us that have done it been inside know that there's some legitimate talent that comes out of, you know, grinding in the chair for a long time. So it's a very like for me, it's a very blue collar way of breaking into just figuring out capitalism in general and art in America. You know, I
mean, it's funny that you say that, because like when I was getting started, I had like a completely different goal. My goal was to, like, I was more like, you know, I was looking at people like CF Payne and Roberto Prada and like Fred Harper and these different people that I was seeing being, you know, illustrators basically. Like,
right.
And I was like, that's what I want to do. As far as caricature, like I would draw caricature, I mean, ever since I was like 10 or something like that, maybe around that age. But like, I never did the live thing until when I was just getting started as an actual illustrator. I got invited to do live caricature with this guy, Lothar Spear. He's this German guy in Chicago. And so he had a stand at Navy Pier, and I would just do caricatures there once a day. It was like one summer I did once a day for one summer. And so that's like a fragment of what you went through. But after one, like there was some days where nobody would even sit in front of me to draw. And I'm like there all day. I'm just like, what? You know, and then the next Wednesday it'd be packed and I would make okay money. But like basically by the end of that summer, I was just like, nah. I can't, I don't know why I'm doing this. Like, I was trying to work full-time as an illustrator anyways, but I thought, right. This would be a great experience for me. And maybe I would learn some, cause I hadn't really drawn from life at that point, you know? So that was like
oh, wow. Okay. So you hadn't drawn from life and then you sat, interesting.
Yeah. So, cause I've been drawing obsessively my whole life. And then I got into caricature around 10 years old. But it was always from references, you know. Well, sometimes I would draw like my friends, you know, like that kind of stuff. But I never like had someone sit in front of me and did like quick caricatures. So that was a cool experience. But so around that time I started becoming friends with Grieger, and I would go sit with
legend, the legend Grieger.
Yeah. And I would go and sit with him at Great America, and we'd just hang out, and I'd watch him just tear people apart. And I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah. Oh no, those guys. I'm not the one at our park was Chris Missimo,
Mm.
and
Oh yeah.
he wasn't like a Grigor type. This was more like a comic book, but he would just exaggerate, and it was so. He's still doing it, and it's so natural. And he holds the
Yeah.
pencil all funny and stuff, but it's hypnotic how he does it. You know, it is, and that he was our. I mean, Ed was also inspiring, but Ed was like a traditional illustrator inspiring.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was so technical. That was the thing. Like his park drawings were professional illustrations.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ed's what
He actually is what Grieger says is Ed, because Ed went up to Great America and trained him and
Yes,
Jesse
yes.
and everything. And they said that he's the one that opened their eyes to, oh, we can exaggerate more.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
that's what pushed Grieger into getting into the kind of exaggeration was Ed, Mr. Steckley.
Yeah, man. Ed's got his fingerprint on a lot of good artists. He really does, man. I respect him in the highest. I still
Even
talk
when
to him.
I first started, like I first got into started doing Cracked magazine.
Yeah.
Ed was in Cracked at the time.
Right.
And he was the only other artist in the entire magazine that I thought was good.
Right.
Everything, it was pretty bad.
That
But
was
Ed,
the Dick Culpa years. Yeah.
and Ed would have like there'd be like 5-6 pages that were like they were like Mad Magazine basically quality,
Right,
and then the
right.
rest of the magazine was just garbage.
Right.
But the reason I brought up the way I started with this was because you had mentioned like the respect level in the art world to caricature is like when I told people that I was like I basically for years stopped telling people that I was a caricaturist.
Yeah.
And I would just call myself an illustrator because as soon as I said caricatures, people would immediately like they'd be like, oh, pff. And again, like you said, nothing against people that work at fairs and stuff, because I know tons that are insanely amazing.
Right.
But
And they're doing amazing stuff in the chair too.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And
Right.
but the overall, like, I guess feeling at that time was it was like carny stuff, and it was just
Right.
because there was a tons of artists that just do this basically drawing the same face over and over again, and it's just like whatever. But I was like consciously like, I'm not a caricaturist because that's what people think of. I'm an illustrator.
Right.
I use caricature as a tool because I was trying to basically compete with guys like CF Payne and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So and it's funny because then I would get into these shows in New York, like Society of Illustrators or American Illustration, that sort of thing, and I started realizing that like there was like a handful of caricature guys like James Bennett, Daniel Odell. There's a handful of them that had the respect of
Right.
these guys are actually artists, but
Right.
there was also that feeling of like, oh, like I don't know. I did have that sense of, like my first painting I ever did that got into New York was a caricature of Tom York, but it was an acrylic painting that I was really proud of, and I had it in the show as my first piece. But I remember still having that feeling of like there's all these like amazing paintings in there, but mine's like a silly caricature. But I was proud of it. But
Right.
there was like that sense. So it's interesting that you brought that up because I think knowing as many different artists that I know, that most caricature artists that I know are insanely talented and can do so much more. I mean, look at where Joe has gone with his work,
Oh, sure. Right.
like there's so many different artists that have done so many things. And
That's Joe Bloom, everybody.
yeah, Joe Bloom. And I think it's funny for myself personally, like I started off with just love and passion for caricature, which I still love caricature, and I do it it's my favorite thing to draw. But I never would have thought that one day that would lead to me painting stamps or like whatever else. It's like, and then there's so many other artists like was it Derek or shit, what's his name? I'm blanking on his name right now, but he does these awesome like kind of like big oil paintings and stuff.
Are you talking about Derek Brennan?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that guy's a monster. I love his work.
So like I just think it's amazing because you go to these conventions and you see these artists that are from all over the world and they're doing brilliant things. But then you know, and like I said, people have this tendency to look down at caricature, but like if you actually see what these dudes do and
Right.
dudes and dudettes,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
it's mind blowing, you know.
Oh, absolutely. And you're just getting stuck with the difference between like the art of caricature, which we know is the art of exaggeration.
Yeah.
And, figuring out facial mass and how to put, really, it just like me, I got obsessed with exaggeration even before I got into like the chair, doing caricature. Because that's the thing. It's the art of caricature and then the act of caricature, the in the chair guy, the guy that came to your birthday party when you were 8 years old. Because so many people have this experience.
Yeah.
And we don't know what it's like to be a normal person anymore. We're like, oh, your face is fucked up. Oh, dude, look at that. Oh man, that fucking weird fucked up thing. You say that to a normal person and you see a little tear start welling. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just like everyone has this. I mean, everyone has a very weird relationship with what they look like to the rest of the world. And
dude, it's true.
And so that's like sometimes our job is just like, hey, don't take yourself so seriously. It's a fucking cart. It's a fucking picture, man. Just chill. You paid me for this. And you can see their panic start. And also I've noticed that there's a lot of people, non-artist types, that they're scared of secret meanings, like horrified that you are putting a secret meaning in the drawing. And I've run, now that just might be me and then my artwork or something, but a lot of people are like, what does this mean? Are you saying something here? I don't know. It's a fucking bird. I don't know. But
well, I think maybe at the conventions you would do that,
I mean,
it's like more, that's more like roasting each other a little bit, which there's so many like similarities between that and comedy. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
right.
It's like so similar.
Oh yeah, no, we're definitely like the stand-up comics of art for sure. Like in the chair, I finally stopped doing work in the chair, and my mental health got so much better, man. It just got so much better, and it's like I said, there are guys out there that have the fortitude, to do it for a long time, and they're still good. And I respect the shit out of them because I don't have that same opinion. Like I see the value in what they do. But that for me, it was bad. It was making me crazy. And then also I've been here in Atlanta now for like 16 years, and I did every college that exists down here. I did every corporate event, everything like that. And there's a bigger value attached to your face down here than anywhere else. And like when in the Midwest, people be like, hey, come fuck me up, man. Big toothless fucking weirdos. And that was awesome. I love those people because, you just sit there, fuck them up. And, you're just doing fucking, and the down here, it's like, they're scared to death. Make me pretty, make me, and you don't even draw them that down here. There's like, this for my lady. Come on. It's just, it's this weird thing when you're drawing normal people in public down here that gets to you after a while. And I finally got to quit, and I'm losing weight and I feel better. I sleep better. Didn't realize it was causing me a little bit of trouble.
That's a good thing, man. I think it's weird that we like, it's strange because, I'm always interested in growing as a person and trying to, push myself and every part of my life if I can. I mean, and to become aware of certain things, but oh my God, I wish I would have started doing this a long time ago. But I think when it comes to like caricature stuff, oh dude, getting a phone call from somebody. That was weird. Sorry. I almost said their name. I'm like, I shouldn't say that. But what was I saying? Oh, I find though, like with caricature, I mean, I don't know if you can relate with this. I'm sure you can, but like, I feel like I think sometimes I don't realize, like, I think I'm just doing like a basic drawing sometimes, and I don't feel like I'm even exaggerating much, and I don't, and I feel like, oh man, it could have been way better. I could have pushed more, and then like normal people will see it and go, holy, like that what, that is like way out there. And I'm like, what, really? And sometimes I start to feel like, dude, have I lost grasp of like are my standards on aesthetics and beauty, are they fucked up? Like, are they like, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah, no, I totally what you mean. Yeah. I think maybe so. Yeah, because I'll see a lot of or whatever's considered visually appealing now. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get that. I don't understand. Yeah, no, I think we get a little warped, but I think it's also maybe our inner eye has just gotten more, attached to this guy here. And, yeah, it is funny when you think you've exaggerated, you haven't, this is a fucking boring thing. And then the reaction is like, wow, dude, can you work that? Can you bring that down a little bit? Oh, weird. Yeah.
Sorry.
But
keep getting my phone. Stop calling me.
if you need to answer, we can take a break.
Oh, no, that's all right. But it's interesting. And I think to an extent this so in relation to this, like last night, I did a stand-up show. And before that, I went to dinner with the guy that's running the show. And he basically he's the headliner. And we're having dinner and he's like, yeah, man, I'm so excited to have this. And he was like telling people, like, I don't know if you guys know this guy, his artwork and everything else, but if you saw his artwork and then you see his comedy, you're going to be like, what in the world? This guy is way out there, man. The things that he says and all this kind of stuff. He's so, and I'm like, is my comedy that like I don't see it that I'm like, dude, I feel like I'm like G-rated a little bit. Right. I mean, right. I guess, and I kind of said that and they're like, dude, you're talking about masturbating on your brother's pillow when you were kids and all these kind of things. And I'm like, yeah, but that's funny. Like, they're like, no, but that's like way out there. I'm like, is it though? Like, I don't, so I'm saying like,
now I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Cause then after so last night I did 15 minutes and I had a great show. And afterwards I'm in the green room and the other comics are like, dude, that was some funny shit, man. And the other guy's like, he's like, yeah, dude, you're way out there, but it's funny. And it's like, I have no grasp of, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm with the caricature and with this now, it's like, what, I don't know if I'm in touch with anything anymore.
Well, you're being honest with the darkness inside you. And I think a lot of people don't understand that, being honest and embracing the darkness, not succumbing to the darkness, but, just embracing it's part of the thing. And, and then you're showing, you also being an artist, if you're trying to grow, well, what am I trying to say? You're trying to grow your honesty and things like that, and showing how it really is inside and things like that. It's like a lot of people are not used to that. A lot of people are really not used to that.
Yeah, it is funny because again, like there's and when you're doing comedy, sometimes you know something's funny, but you don't know. Like right now, everyone's so like they get so like, I have this Bill Cosby joke, and it's not like it's a funny joke, but it's like it's not that big of a deal. But right. Last night when I did it, like you couldn't hear a pin drop until I said the last thing, and then they're like, oh. Like, and I was like, dude, it's okay to laugh. Like, you guys are so afraid. Like, as soon as you say Bill Cosby, everyone's like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like, but
where is he gonna fall on this one?
It's like people need to lighten up. But I feel the same thing with caricature. Unfortunately, I don't really get to do caricature as much for publications as I did before, because
right.
I think the culture right now is catching up, where it's like a lot of people are having a hard time with caricature. They find it almost abusive or like offensive, and it's a bully thing. Like, I've been called an asshole and a bully.
Oh yeah.
I had to draw Trump for a publication, and they were like,
oh boy.
And they're like, oh, you got to pull it way back, and I'm like, I barely even did anything in this.
He's a strip clown. He's a strip club birthday clown. I mean, that's literally how he presents himself. What are you talking about?
I know. And it's so hard to like not push, and same with Nancy Pelosi. Like, I did a piece with both of them, and they were like, oh, you can't draw Nancy that way. I mean, you mean like the way she looks? And like, I have like a Mars attacks alien. I mean, that's just what she looks like. That's And you have to exactly. That's exactly what she looks like. That's really funny. But yeah. Don't make her eyes like sunken in and like you mean like they are like.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like she puts her eyeballs in every morning. You know?
Right. Or somebody does it for her, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's hard because I find myself when I do this stuff, like I'm not sure even what to do sometimes now. Like it's like walking on eggshells, like, you know. But I think that is also why I am drawn to the comedy stuff too, because it feels so. I feel like I'm already there.
Yeah,
you know, like it feels like it's the same thing I've been doing for a while.
right. You're just learning the new language. It's like it's like doing a new program or something. You know, it's like, I guess I got to do Illustrator now. Photoshop can't do that.
Exactly. Yeah. So what have you been like focusing on lately with the art? I mean, I love like the samples that you sent me, for example. There's something like I every single one of your things, like I'm like, dude, that would be an amazing t-shirt, or you know. So are you trying to brand in that kind of direction, or I'm just curious like what's been the latest thing, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, that's okay. So my like philosophy is human first, artist second, you know. So I'm trying to get that balance in my life of making sure I'm taking care of my mental health, making sure I'm taking care of my body, being honest with myself on what I'm actually thinking, and being mindful of that, starting with that. And then trying to just open up my philosophy on, streams of income. I mean, not to make it about capitalism or anything, but it's part of the game. And kind of finding that Venn diagram of like what I can do to communicate. Communication is exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to communicate, and I'm trying to have as few masters as possible. So so I try to, and right now I feel like I'm moving more towards a graphic representation of my ideas and thoughts. And at the moment, I'm actually working on a lot of t-shirts for a company called Cavity Colors. That does these amazing, high quality, licensed horror movie t-shirts and things like that. So
cool.
It's like a dream freelance project right now. So that's probably going to take up a good chunk of my time here for a while. But before that, just working on developing enough original ideas that belong to me that I can make limited runs on. I mean, I don't want people to feel like I'm taking advantage of them, so I do cut runs off on my prints. I've been focusing a lot on prints because it's kind of a democratic way to get art on walls. I feel like it's kind of like I feel like I'm a gateway to you getting more into like other artists and things like that. So I have a price point that I can work with, and I do high quality giclées with Epson. And I've been working the gallery, I'd say more alternative space. I've been working the alternative space scene here in Atlanta a little bit, and getting to know some people and learning a lot of lessons and things like that. So those are my gill nets. I put those out for the fish, and I get the fish that way. And then I took a little time to try to learn how to paint. I really got into it. I did the Kruger workshops a bunch. And that just blows your mind when you see that shit. You watch him and I'm not going to do that. I mean, it's just, it is. It's good though. It's good to kind of like, all right, I'm watching that guy. He's fucking good, And then, but I take a look at, you can learn from it, and then kind of redistribute like, but where are my talents actually at, So that's kind of where I'm at. Am I making sense? My gosh, I'm not using that's what's weird about
I get you completely, man.
The pandemic has made it to where it's like I'll not talk to someone for like 4 or 5 days, because that's another thought real quick. Like my life is already so solitary. You probably have this too. My life is already so solitary, being an illustrator and working from home and working on projects at home, to where whenever the pandemic happened and you saw people freaking out and losing their minds, just living the life you live every day, like having to stay home and really, you're like, oh shit, I guess this is bad for my health or whatever,
or the way I look at it is weak ass people can't handle this.
Yeah. Come on,
'cause
man.
to me, it's like I'm fine all by myself. No, leave me.
Right.
I'm good. Just like,
Yeah.
but you know what though? I mean, the having teenagers during the lockdown, that's like, that's not fun. I mean, I'll put that out there. That's
yeah, totally. And that's the thing. I have empathy for everyone that can't be by themselves. I get it. There's a lot of people that can't, but
oh yeah.
Yeah. So but back to the original thing is like, I get worried because that I'm not, like, I was so worried that I wasn't gonna be able to talk today because I'll find myself not being able to catch really simple words. I'm like, am I getting fucking Alzheimer's? Thumb drive, you know what I mean? And like, the fucking thing you put in your computer, fuck it, thumb drive,
Yeah.
And anyway, that's like our
computer dick.
And sometimes sometimes your brain turns into like a McDonald's menu. It's like, it's all just like icons. You're like, pencil. Anyway, so yeah. What was the question?
Yeah. I was just asking like what the current things that I was just interested in the current stuff that you've been working on, but yeah, this has been a weird couple of years, man. And like, it's just like, it's still weird, and it's like, even like, I don't know what it's like where you are, but I've lived in Chicago for 26 years and I just moved to the suburbs and it's so much better. Like, I just love it. I mean, I'm that guy now that I got a house, I got a yard. Like it's a nice, safe neighborhood, good schools. I haven't heard a gunshot in like 6 months.
That's great. Good for you, buddy.
I love it. But it's weird. So last night my show was in Chicago, so I don't go to. It's only like I'm only like 20 something miles from Chicago, so it's not that far away. But I don't go there anymore because everything I need is just right here. But like, so it feels weird now going back, like back in the city, like just like the amount of anxiety that I start feeling as soon as I get in the city, just the way people drive. But then again, everything's different there pandemic wise compared to what it's like where I am here, right here. Like we have to wear masks here and everything else, but nobody asks for your card. In fact, I couldn't find my card and I was freaking out because in Chicago, you can't do anything or go anywhere. And if you don't have that card, and we went out to eat and I found it just before I left. So I'm like, okay. So everywhere you go, you have to pull out the card, pull out your ID. And I'm like, oh, this is different. And it was funny. You go in with your mask. They walk you 5 feet, sit you down. Everyone takes your mask off. And we're all sitting to just boom, 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 boom together, no masks, everything's fine. And then when we're done eating, everyone's got to, when you stand up, put the mask on, walk 5 feet out of the restaurant, take the mask off. It's like,
it's so weird. Yeah.
That COVID's like in that 5 feet right there. But I mean, it's just different because everywhere you go, but I just haven't been in the city for so long that like I was forgetting. I'm like, I'm already forgetting these things. Like it's weird.
Oh, right. Yeah. Here, I live in Georgia. It's a little, I haven't had to use my,
like, I'm starting to like Walmart. Oh my God.
That's,
no,
I'm
just kidding.
You might need to readjust your medication on that one, dude.
Yeah. I don't even think there's a Walmart around me but
God bless. That's great. Yeah. No, so Atlanta's kind of weird. It's like there's a enclave of liberals that are doing their best to like, hey, can you please wear a mask? And hey, can you please? And then most people, it's like 50-50 wearing masks out there. And then you get like gigantic pickup trucks from like, up north and to the west, and they'll come in, truck flags and all that. Truck flags have been down since 2020, thank God. They're probably on their way back up because we're at midterms elections here. But it's a little different. Atlanta is a nice little.
Do they not enforce it there?
No, we have a Republican governor that's a psychopath that's trying to out psychopath the other. We got some weird shit going on down here, man. We do. We got this like hardcore weirdo Republican governor. It's like, I'm gonna shoot the guy that wants to fuck my daughter, and that's his campaign ad. And like he's now he's the liberal guy. The fucking Trump hates him,
Yeah.
So Trump has his guy. God. Trump has his guy down here that he wants to be governor, David Perdue. And
Oh, yeah.
and the whole campaign is just like, I'm Donald Trump and he's fucking awesome. Fucking David Perdue doesn't even talk. So
Yeah.
he's just like, I'll just do whatever Trump wants.
Yeah.
And then the other guys, I don't care for Kemp, but he's like, I'm at least going to try to govern and all this shit. It's fucking weird down here right now. Like down here in Georgia, man, Trump never left, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, he won't leave us alone. So yeah, shit's just weird. I don't know where we started with that, but as far as that, I mean, you know, I kind of like am like this. I'm vaccinated. I got my booster. I wear a mask out just because it's not that big a fucking deal to me.
Yeah, exactly.
And just like,
yeah, I don't see what the big deal is. The only thing I was saying, it was just like it's just weird. I'm starting to notice the difference just from 20 miles away from.
Oh, fucking yeah.
Like, because I'm in Wheaton, and it's a really nice. I call it a town because Wheaton's not very big, but there's just burbs all over, so they all connect.
Right.
And I like it because it's kind of like old timey looking, and I feel like I'm living in a Rockwell painting. It's like,
oh wow,
the neighborhoods are really like kind of like from the 50s, and it's really nice. I like it.
I love that about
everything's more
there.
laid back. It's just laid back. Like on New Year's, we didn't do anything because I have two babies. I have a 4-year-old and a 1.5-year-old, and my wife went to bed at like 9. And so I came down here and started a fire and just had New Year's by myself, had a glass of bourbon, I'm like, you know, I don't even know if I'm going to stay up till midnight. I'm just chilling. I'm like, this is nice. This is relaxing. And then as soon as it turned midnight, right out my back window, it was fireworks, like poof, poof, poof. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I felt like I was in Chicago all of a sudden.
Yeah. Pop. Yeah.
Like, but, it's definitely been like I've noticed, like what you're talking about, the mental health thing. Like I've noticed just like since I've moved here, that it's just been like,
yeah, change
like
change can help, man. Change can help, just whatever it is, you know. Yeah, definitely. It's been rough. I'm trying to like also, you know, I'm trying to be less sanctimonious about stuff. I'm trying to like kind of, all right, I mean, you know, I'm not going to like pretend the last 5-6 years hasn't been fucking insane. And I'm not going to pretend like the last 2 years have been like awesome. But, you know, I'm just trying to like be less sanctimonious. I mean, I'm trying to make less room for assholes and be less of an asshole too. You know, it was so scary for a while that I think it was like, yeah, you can't wear a fucking mask for everybody. What the fuck? And then, you know, I got that, you know, I was really kind of like, because I have family from rural areas. I kind of know people from everywhere, and everywhere experienced this shit different. Like everywhere did. And like you know, that's what's weird about like the mask thing. Like I live in a suburb of Atlanta. I'm about 10 miles from the city. And out here it's like half and half. Someday, like if it's spiking, it'll be 60-70%. It's actually really diverse, and you know, everyone's pretty chill and getting along. You go out like 20 minutes and you wear a mask into a gas station, everybody's head turns towards you like fucking Pee-wee Herman. You know, like they're just like, what the fuck? I'm wearing a fucking mask, or you know, and
oh my gosh.
or like a gas station out. Like if you have to drive, like I went to Florida last year. You drive to Florida, like I'm just gonna stay out here and put the card in the machine, man. It looks weird in there. Just like I just, you know, it was just a weird thing to me. I don't know. I've been really getting into the idea of like, I think we live in a pro wrestling culture, like just in general.
I think you do. You live in Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, that's true. Okay, I'll give you that. But I've been a lot of places, and let me tell you, it's Bill Burr says this, and he's absolutely right. Rednecks are fucking everywhere, and you know, there's some 10 miles.
Hey, Nolan's like out in what? Portland or Seattle or something like that. Seattle, and I think it's this wrestling thing is his fault. He's promoting it way too much, man. He's making socks and shit.
I love that shit, man.
I'm calling him out.
His fucking.
You know, Donald Trump's wearing Nolan socks.
Those fucking wrestling toys are
they're awesome. Yeah,
they're so great. And again, want to make a point to say I respect the athleticism of those guys, That is,
Yeah.
they're destroying their bodies for most of them, no money. It's like minor leagues without any pay. And all that stuff. So I respect what they do. I respect the culture. What I meant by that was like, we kind of live in this culture now where you can believe what you want to believe. And, you know, as long as you, as long as you can just do that, I think it's like, I think WWF.
Dude, no, I completely relate. Dude, when the, and so I won't even say who, but during this pandemic, when the shutdown first happened, I was getting like emails sent to me or messages of links. Oh, you got to check this out. This is really what's going on. This is, you know, all this, you know, I'm sure you've seen these things but by people that I respect, that I consider intelligent, are sending me these links. And I take like 2 minutes to look into it. And I find out that the director of this believes in the flat earth and thinks lizard people are real.
Yeah.
And I'm like
legit.
I write him. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, this guy believes in lizard people. He thinks the earth is flat. Like, well, it doesn't mean everything he says is wrong. It's like, yes, it fucking does.
Yeah.
Like, what? I mean,
there's an objective reality. The objective reality is they figured out the world was round like in Greek times. You know, it's just like the math works, guys. You know, it's just it's like saying it's really saying like, I just don't believe in math.
Yeah, exactly.
Find it in the Bible.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, no, it's definitely it blows your mind. Like when like so. And I don't mean to throw my family under the bus, but like, you know, my family, they're all from North Wisconsin. And throughout this whole thing, a lot of the people in North Wisconsin don't believe that this stuff's really real. They don't take it as seriously. They don't wear masks. They don't want to get vaccinated. And now what you're seeing in Wisconsin is tons of people are dying from COVID.
Right.
And they're freaked out by it, but they still don't want to get vaccinated. And they still don't want to wear the masks.
That's like the part. Yeah.
And it's like, you know, 1 + 1 does equal 2. You cannot debate that, really. You know what I mean? It's like there's certain things that just are, and it's just weird, man. It's like,
and it's weird how like believing in a virus has now become like, oh, you're a fucking liberal for believing that.
Yeah.
But it's objectively like I have a family member that died. I have a family member that died. They were distant, but it was in the family still was like, I mean, you know, I don't know if that's what killed him. And it's like, no, it really, it's like, it's fucking weird. But I try to have empathy for how scared people are, you know, it's just like, it gets weird, but objectively you have to go like,
and there is so much misinformation.
Oh yeah.
Left and right. It's like ridiculous.
Absolutely. It's one of those both things are true situations. And that's, I think binary thinking is like the real problem that we run into. It's like, and I think this is part of like the hypnotization that we're getting from like our phones and social media and stuff. Is like, we're getting tricked into thinking there's only two sides to every single thing. Everything is either right or wrong. Mm-hmm. And that kind of came up during the Trump years where it was like, yeah, but the system's crooked. Yeah, but rich people are fucking us. Yeah, but healthcare is bad. It's like, that's all true. And it's also true that Trump is a lunatic, and that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
And like,
constantly lies.
Yeah, you know. That's the thing. And like, and everyone that's dealt with a liar or dealt with a narcissist just goes like, you can't give that guy power in your life. You can't give that person power in your life because you'll never fucking get rid of them. And here we are, can't get rid of the motherfucker. Yeah. You know, just can't get rid of them. I'm coming back 2020, 2023 plus 4. I'll be, you know, like, no, it's, oh, dude. I just feel like we're waiting out the clock. Please. Oh, should I say this? Please just no, I'm not gonna say it. Anyway, like for like a stroke or something, because he's getting up there. You know, he parties. You know, if we can just wait the clock out. Yeah. I'm sure he's not doing rails off in bathrooms or nothing, but you know, the Sudafed can catch up to you too. I don't know. Maybe I'm saying too much. This is being recorded anyway. We could just wait the clock out. I don't know what's going on. It's crazy.
Dude, I'll tell you something once we're done with this that I can't talk about right now, but I got some weird political people that have been looking into me lately. I'll tell you after this.
Yeah, sure.
But I want to show you some fan art in just a bit.
Oh, sure.
But back when we were talking about the music stuff, there was something that I wanted to talk about because I just thought it'd be funny to talk about. Something that I've just recently discovered, and maybe you've known about this for a while, but if anybody wants, I mean, and we're the same generation, so you're gonna know this band. I can't believe that people in the world that haven't heard of this band. Okay, it blows my mind. But I've been turned on to these videos lately on YouTube of people first time reactions to listening to.
Oh, I love
like,
those. Those
like
are my fucking favorite.
Rage Against the Machine. Like,
yeah.
Like they're sitting there just like dan and dan 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 dan, and they're like dan dan, and they're just like what the fuck?
First reaction videos.
Dude, it is the best. I've been watching those like I'm like, oh, I got to see how they react to Bulls on Parade, and they're just like, they'll stop and like, he's a rapper, he's rapping. What is it?
Yeah.
And then they're like, what? When did this come out? When did this come out? 2013 or something? It's like, no, dude, this is like 20 years old at least. But or like I saw one where they're listening to what's that? It was Tool. And I can't think of the name of the song right now, but that's a great one. Their minds are blown by Tool. And it's like, dude, how have you not heard Tool?
That's a weird one. That's a weird. Yeah, I do the same thing. I love. I'll go down the rabbit holes. One of my favorite genres. People listen to music and they'll have never heard Pink Floyd. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just like a basic like Pink Floyd. Or one of my favorite ones was when they found out the Bee Gees were white. Like when people find out the Bee Gees are white is the fucking funniest. Because they're like, they're not white. And then they actually see what they look like. They're like, those guys? Yeah. Those
they look like they should be on the Pee Wee Herman show.
Yeah, man.
Dude, and no, like I was watching one yesterday, and they were listening to, it was 3 different AC/DC songs, and they were like, who are these guys? And they're like, dude, that guy could play the guitar. Look at how he dances. And they're like freaking out. They're like, dude, these guys are legends.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's like your mind's being like no one's been hiding them from you.
No, that's exactly right. No one's been hiding them. Their concert tickets.
Have you not seen an Iron Man movie? Or or like the Matrix, the Rage Against the Machine and the first Matrix. Have you not? That's the thing too. When people, so dude, I have a friend who he's my age. He's like 40. I think he's 42 or 43. And he was just a year ago, he was dating this girl 20 years younger than him. And we were hanging out, and I was having a blast with this girl because she was like, she's not that much older than my oldest daughter. And my friends, I'm like, she didn't know who Jack Nicholson was. And I'm like, bro, you gotta end this relationship. He's like, what? I'm like, she doesn't know who Jack Nicholson is. I had to explain to her. And then I start going through like all these different movies. She hasn't seen anything. I'm like, okay, now we're getting into the early 2000s. She still hasn't seen any of these movies. Like and he's like, well, why is it important? I'm like, dude, her favorite thing is Hannah Montana. All right. Like,
ooh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
End this. This is creepy. Like,
and it's weird too, because as we are getting into our 40s and things like that, you're hanging out with people in their 30s that haven't seen these things. Yeah. And you're like, oh, Jesus, pop culture is so weird now. Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, and now that I'm doing stand-up, a lot of my comic friends are like in their early 20s, mid 20s. Mm-hmm. Like I could be their dad. And it's weird because they don't realize that I'm that much older than them.
Right.
And because I don't go around telling them, but I've been like hanging out with some of these comics for a few months now, and now I'm finding out, oh, dude, you're only 24. Holy crap! No wonder why you don't know anything.
my favorite question that I get from artists that I see at galleries and things like that is, eventually I'll make a pop culture reference, and they'll just look at me. It's always the same thing. They'll just look, how old are you? Yeah. Just like, oh yeah, like fucking your dad's age.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, I grew up on Star Wars, the original Star Wars. Yeah. And it drives me crazy when someone comes up to me. This has happened a few times when like someone in their 20s. Yeah. And they're like, oh man, I love Star Wars too. And they start talking about the prequels.
Right.
And I'm like, oh God, please. And I said, I'm talking about the originals. And they're like, oh, those are terrible, boring movies. Like, I don't even watch those. I'm like, dude,
Yeah, no, it's a funny thing. I had that with my my nieces. I tried to like, well, I'm going to show them Gremlins. This is going to be so
Oh
great.
yeah.
Oh, we could do, and their mom was like, hey, they don't like Gremlins, dude. It's boring to them. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, no, it's boring to them, man. It's like, but I kind of remember my dad trying to get me to watch like shit like Zorro
Yeah.
and like Tarzan. I'm like, I can't get into this shit. What the fuck?
It is
man?
funny,
So,
man.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
part of our evolution. Joe,
Exactly.
I was just talking with Joe Bloom the other day, and I hadn't seen the new Ghostbusters movie, and he told me, dude, you got to watch it. It's really good. It's going to make you cry. It's like, it's nostalgic. It's done well. It feels so much like the original stuff. And I was like, oh man, I gotta watch it. So I watched it, and my 4-year-old daughter wanted to watch it with us. So she's watching it, and she loves the movie so much that she wanted to watch the originals. And we've been watching the originals on repeat, and she just thinks it's the coolest movie in the world.
Awesome.
Like,
Awesome.
yeah, she's
That's
like,
so cool.
she doesn't even see the difference. Like, she doesn't understand. She'll go, so this one was when you were a kid, Dad? I'm like, yep, this one. And then she's like, so that's not, she'll basically say that now, like, let's watch the one from when you were a kid, you know?
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
So
we had a little kid staying with us for a while, for a short amount of time, and it seems like when they're like 3 or 4 or whatever, that they're way more like into letting you give them that chance with that old stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I had like a Kiki's Delivery Service, like a Miyazaki film, like on a VHS, and that kid played and I was like, I got a little kid to watch a Miyazaki movie 1,000 times. That makes me feel so good. And then I love Wayne White, and Pee-wee's Playhouse was kind of like me growing up, like nostalgia for me. And I got her hooked on Pee-wee's Playhouse, the old ones, and she just wouldn't stop watching. It's like, all right, man, it still has power. Definitely.
Oh yeah,
power.
no, there's definitely. No, it's there's the good stuff. There's but then wait till they're teenagers.
yeah.
And it's like I have this joke I've been doing lately where I talk about, like, I say, it's interesting having babies and teenagers at the same time. It's like 1 minute you could be changing diapers and watching Sesame Street, but the next you might find yourself in a heated debate with a 14-year-old about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict because of information they got from TikTok.
And you got like, oh gosh, TikTok. Oh
yeah, Christ. It's the Fox News for teenagers.
Dude, my experience with TikTok, I logged on once. I used to listen to Your Mom's House podcast.
Oh yeah.
And, I got into the dark talks.
Yeah.
And so I had it for a minute, but I would find myself scrolling for fucking hours.
Oh,
and
really?
I felt the hypnosis, and I would be depressed for like a day afterwards. I just deleted it, got rid of it. Yeah.
I refuse to, like a lot of people are trying to get me to go on TikTok. It's great for your art and everything. And then in comedy, like all the comments, you got to put clips. I'm like, dude, I see what it's doing to teenagers' brains and stuff, man. And like I think it's trash. Like, it's the same thing. Like when, just before Facebook, everyone was into, what's that? MySpace. And I refused to do MySpace. I just seemed so lame. And the only reason I started Facebook was like literally to get my mom off my back, because she kept wanting me to send pictures of my kids and everything. And I'm like, oh wait, I can share pictures of my kids, and then everyone sees them at once, and I don't have to like send stuff to people. And that was literally why I started it. And then all of a sudden I started getting like friend requests. I'm like, what the? And then it just turned into like business, like marketing. Yeah. But I just don't see TikTok that way. TikTok, it's like,
it's the new shift. It's the new paradigm. As you know, like our art is like, whatever, we'd rather you be dancing to, it's like, it's it's not going to stop, I don't think.
Well, that's the thing that I get annoyed with, like everything gets up, like, oh, now there's reels and you got to be doing reels and all stuff. It's like, dude,
it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Yeah. I love it. Like my last few years, I haven't been barely posting, and I've been busier. I make more money. I'm happier. So having to play the rules in order for people to see, it's exhausting. And who's got the fucking time to figure that out?
I feel like I'm starting to really feel my age now. Like I'm turning into the old guy, because last night I did my show. I had some friends that came over, and then my one friend was like, hey, you can crash at my house. It's a few blocks away. And I'm like, oh, that's great. I don't have to drive all the way back to home, you know. And I just had to get up early enough to get my kid to school today. So I go back. We're gonna hang out in his apartment for a little bit. We're hanging out. I'm gonna have one more drink before I go to bed. And then all of a sudden, his neighbor shows up. He owns the whole place, so he's, you know, the boss basically in the place. But he's more like a nice roommate. They basically, it's like Seinfeld. Like people just come into each other's apartment, I guess. So we're sitting there hanging out in the kitchen, and all of a sudden his back door opens, and it's the guy that lives downstairs, and he's got beer and tequila, and he's got this young blonde college chick with him, and she's like, yeah, I'm going. She kept like pulling her shirt up a little bit. She's like, I'm going to school to be a psychologist. I think maybe a sex therapist, she kept saying. And it's like, okay. And it was like, I remember being like so annoyed like the whole time, like, geez, I want to hang with my bro for a little bit and talk. And then all of a sudden she's like, I invited some friends. And then like 4 or 5 more like young college chicks show up all drunk, and they're like, let's play games. And they're like, all like whatever. And I was like, I'm going to bed. I just like went upstairs and went to bed. And I had the worst. This is why I was tired at the beginning of the like, full circle. This is why I said I was tired. All night long, they partied until like 5:30 in the morning.
Right.
Like all night long. This is what I'm trying to sleep upstairs in this guy's apartment. All night long, I'm hearing all night.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, I'm thinking, trying to sleep here. I'm like the old guy. Like,
oh yeah.
I couldn't believe that it, like, I don't know.
I've had all those old guy moments for very many times. Hey guys, I need to sleep for. Yeah, oh, definitely, man. Yeah, that's the thing too. You know, hanging out with people in their 20s, unless they're really, really intelligent and down to earth and things like that, or like partying with them. It's funny because I remember in my 20s being like, why are they such dicks to us? Now I get it totally. Like, I wouldn't want to talk to a 23-year-old me.
Well, and it's funny. Yeah.
I mean,
Oh no. And it's funny because I'm happily married, you know, but
yeah,
these are all like really attractive, beautiful young girls. Like they're just like, we want to party. And I'm like, I don't even have that part in me anymore that just because they're pretty, I want to hang out. Like I don't care.
No,
at all.
No, it's a funny thing that
dumb and annoying, and I want to go to bed.
Yeah, it's funny because I get that way too. You know, I'm happily married too, love my wife to death, but yeah, they don't even. Like I can look at them and be like, yeah, you're pretty and stuff. You're attractive. I'm not interested in talking.
I'm more interested in making a lampshade out of you at this point.
Anyway, Jason, that's too far.
Oh no, I did it again.
No. And let's just say all gendered young people can be a little bit. That's what I love about the ISCA, and I haven't been in years. And everybody that's listening, that's an ISCA person, it's not because of you, I promise. It's just that every fucking year, the dates fall on either my birthday, my wife's birthday, or our anniversary. Yeah. And for a while we were cool with that, and now we want to be together on those days. Yeah. And that's good. That's good. And the response to that has been like, bring your wife with you. I'm like, my wife, I wouldn't do that to her. I love her too much.
That's how I feel the same way. Cause like it's hard for me to go that time. I wished it was a different time of the year, because that time of the year is always a busy time for me.
Me too.
And it's like almost before Thanksgiving, and it's like, dude, this is a bad time. Like
they kind of screwed up because it went back when it was in February and stuff. It's kind of slow for everybody. Yeah. Like in all, I mean, you still got work and stuff, but like that November time is really hard if you're not doing caricatures, because you are geared up for holiday work and every other thing. Like, clients want shit like crazy that time of year. So it's just been a little difficult. And I miss everybody dearly. And, if you remember me, I love you. So, it's like, I'll be back one day. I know I will be. One of these days it'll be close enough to me. I can drop in for a day or two. So looking forward to that, for sure. So miss y'all.
Yeah. Miss for sure. And by the way, let's get into some fan art, because we got to wrap this up soon, but there's some people that want to show you some love.
All right.
So let me share this screen here with you. And by the way, these people only had like a day,
Right.
So they
Right.
these
I'm surprised there are any. I thank
Yeah.
you, whoever. Thank you to everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. So this first one this is by Jacques Lemonnier.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Well, what's French for thank you? Bonjour. Bonjour. No, I'm kidding. That's not it.
Oui,
Yeah.
oui.
Oui. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, lovely. They used the photo, the one that looked like a Flemish painting or whatever.
Yeah. This
that-
definitely feels that way. It's pretty cool.
for sure. Bonsoir, mon ami. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Sorry, guy.
Ooh la la, c'est cher.
Yeah, voulez-vous des bears?
This is great.
Oh no, that's awesome.
This is by Mr. Ponce.
Oh, nice, man. I love it. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Yeah, like the little leaf there coming down. That's great, man. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, I don't have enough time, so I had to do a quick one." But I'm like, "Dude, that looks great."
Sometimes the quick ones, sometimes the quick ones are the best. That's
Yeah.
the thing. So that's a hard thing, isn't it? Isn't it a hard thing to go like, I love that 5-minute drawing and I'm going to stand behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's hard to stand behind it because you're like, no, I gotta suffer more. But this is beautiful. Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's great. This is cool too. Here, I'll zoom in on this one.
Oh, who did this one?
Mark Schmid did this one.
Oh, I know you. Thanks, Mark. Very nice.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is cool, man. I like the style on this. It's pretty awesome.
For sure. You got a little. Yes, very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you, man.
Got that. You know what? What's interesting? Like, I think this looks like unit captures, but it also reminds me a little bit of this part here with the mouth, the way the teeth and everything reminds me of Beast a little bit.
Yep. And the kind of how the cheeks are go over the yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Mr. Bob East. I can see that.
Mr. Beast. This is cool.
Oh shit, who did that?
This is Guy Kierman.
Wow, man, that's like academic. That's beautiful. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's based off a photo from a friend of mine that has some insane gear. And it's well done, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and what's cool, I mean, again, one day. So I was surprised, like.
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, everybody.
And let's see, this is by Dominic Zeilinger.
Thank you. I feel like it's, if I were trying to do, I could totally do like a parody Bert Kreischer podcast. It'll be like www.jeremytownsend.com instead of Bert. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, no,
that actually beautiful. That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, because that's Kreischer-esque but also me. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Got my little weird ear shape there too. I like that.
And and this is the last one. This is by Paula Petlawani.
Thank you, Paula. I like that. It's very, very loose and gestural. And I see me in there.
It's interesting too. Like, I just realized that the background is like, looks like there's like some photo collage, like bricks or something. At first I thought it was part of the painting, and I just realized, oh wait, it's like photo stuff in there. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is. I do because at first you'd think, oh, it's like a paper texture that she did some kind of treatment on, but no, it's Thank you so much, everybody. I can't believe you actually got drawings in a day and a half. That's great.
I wasn't sure. I mean, this was kind of a last minute. I wasn't sure if I was going to do a podcast this week because it's just been crazy. I've been crazy busy with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, no, I got to do one. And then I saw you post something like, dude, I can't believe I haven't talked to Jert. This is crazy. So that's why I reached out. I'm like, man, I got to get you on here, man. So speaking of, I really appreciate you taking the time, and it's been awesome to chat and catch up, man.
Yeah, you bet.
And before we end this bad boy, is there anything that you want to just like promote or let people know, direct people towards, so they can check out what you've been doing and stuff?
You can find, the easiest way to find me is www.jert.co. That's jert.co. And you can find me on Instagram, the same, at jert.co. So that's the best two places to find shit about me. And
Yeah.
there's emails and all that there. Well, don't email me, but find me on find me on Instagram and Jert.co. I sell shit on Jert.co. And yeah, man, I'd
by
love
the
to
way,
meet you.
I do think that you should do a podcast because and I definitely want to have you on again at some time just to like do like regular podcast shit and just talk, because that's why I did this in the first place. That's why I like doing the podcast. I like just being able to talk with someone where we can actually just have a conversation. And you can have fun and talk about things, because I think this is like my 100 and it's 150s, I think.
Jeez, wow, man.
And not everybody is easy to talk to, so
Oh, thanks, man.
So,
I appreciate that.
So I definitely, like, I would listen to a podcast if you did one. You're a super talented dude. You're funny. You're smart. You got a good head on your shoulders. Last thing before we go, I just got to say one of my favorite things. So I think the first time I met you again was at the caricature convention, and I think I did a painting of you the second time. I think. Yes. Right.
Yes, I have it. I still have it.
Okay. But I just remember like everyone was drawing you, and I remember the first time I'm like, oh, I don't want to, I don't want, everyone's drawing that guy, so I don't want to draw him. Right. I remember I think Joe Bloom were really cool, and it was like you're like full body and like a little baby or something.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I love that one. But right away I was like, this guy is awesome, and then and then Lars is gonna kill me, but I remember like years ago, Lars was doing these drawing videos that are just, it was so funny, where he would make these videos of like himself, like, oh hi, I didn't see you there, and but then you started doing these videos, and it's one of the funniest things that I just that to me is like, you got to do stuff like that. You got to do like little skit things or different, because that was some of the funniest shit. I don't know, I can't remember if it was just little clips or if you did full on YouTube videos.
They're on YouTube. It's funny that How to Make a Comic Strip is up to 350K views.
Oh,
or something.
Wow.
It's insane. And
so wait, what's your YouTube then? Like, let people know what that is, because
oh man, I'm so bad at YouTube.
I'll put it all on here so people can see.
Okay, thanks. I think it's Mr. Jert, maybe.
Okay.
You can put in J.Townsend-Jert, and
but everybody's got to look it up because it's hilarious.
Yeah. It's Jimmy Jams, all around entertainment. Yeah, those got caught in my head, and I gotta say, if you have time for like one quick story about that.
Yeah.
So I was losing my mind. I was in my apartment, and I found these videos, and there's like 300 of them. There's so many, and you just go, oh my God, there's so many. Oh my God. And I understand where he was at now, because I kind of had something similar happen to me later, and I'll get into that in a second. But I was obsessed with these videos because of it was like almost hypnotic how the voice was going. Mm-hmm. And he was like thinking on his feet and trying to come up with answers. And you could just tell there was someone off camera, like, 30 seconds, come on, draw me a flower in 30 seconds. And then you could just see it was like, so, and I'm so surprised like Tim and Eric haven't found it or anything like that, because it is kind of got that vibe.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of, so, I made my little parody videos, and most people didn't know what I was parodying or anything like that. So they just thought I was an insane person slapping food on my face.
Yeah. When you're drinking the milk. Yeah. Just like,
I don't know which one it is, but there's one. I lived across the street from a Kentucky Fried Chicken. So I got 2 double down sandwiches and put another like sausage or something between them, and it had 2 double downs. It was disgusting. But and my wife would come home, and the department was like, "Are you doing your fucking videos again? There is fucking I would use cough syrup as blood and shit. Anyway, So anyway, I have more empathy now because somebody reached out. Now, I don't know where this got started because I've never pretended otherwise, but some people thought I was a street artist for a minute. I don't know why, but so somebody reached out to me down here and was like, hey, we were doing a little clip for YouTube. It's some producer, and we're hoping we can pick it up with PBS. We want to talk to someone about the history of graffiti, and everything out of my words was, I don't know nothing about that. I don't know. He's like, no, but you're good at talking. It's probably better to have someone that's good at talking. I'm like, go to talk to real people. They're everywhere. So anyway, for some fucking reason, I said yes. And thank God this video never made it surface, because I got real high and I was like just sweating, and I was just like, there've been spray paint since the 40s. I was terrible, and I was like, this is maybe karma. This might be karma here. I might be getting a little bit this. I have empathy for those videos now, but they're still fucking hilarious. And no ill will to Lar. And they were meant in good fun.
No, it was great, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would say though, like, you do a podcast, because that stuff's entertaining, man. I definitely watch that shit.
Well, I appreciate the encouragement, Jason. Maybe I'll think about that.
But thanks so much for doing this, man. I really appreciate it. And to everybody else, thanks for supporting the podcast. And also, please remember to check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Jason Seiler, where I'm releasing a new video every week. I haven't released one yet this week, but I will before the end of this week. And then also once a month, a special bonus podcast with an artist where we actually go into their work and go through, their sketching process, the painting. So it's more of an in-depth podcast. So check that out. And thank you so much. And we'll see you all next time.